Hello, welcome to the 1 to 11 podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Fash, with Paul. We're here. You may recognize us from the Snap UK American football podcast, although chances are you won't.
You have a 150 and 60 million chance of 150 and 7 billion chance
Yeah,
of being one of the listeners.
yeah, but if you are, thank you for following us, of course. For those who've not listened before, we are just two armchair fans wanting to share our love of certain aspects of the game. And actually, today's theme is sort of the beginning of the end of my pure love of football.
This was kind of smack bang in the middle of mine.
Yeah. I,
Well, as a Leeds United fan, this led to something very significant happening for you, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So we're back in June 2003. Can you tell me what was in the charts in this time?
No.
He's still in the news at the moment, but for very different circumstances.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. It's the Ignition remix is number one.
Yep, I just finished my GCSEs.
Yep, I was
hot and fresh out the kitchen.
I think I was a year out of school. Justin Timberlake, Rock Your Body. It was a good time.
The world still had blockbusters, Toys R Us, Woolworths. What a world it was.
What a world. What a world.
We started by telling you we're old, so that's good.
We were still buying music at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this was a kind of a turning point in regard to modern football. This is one of the reasons we wanted to cover this one, and I think we have to start with a disclaimer, John.
We do.
This isn't like going on certain websites and this being the definitive list of who we feel are the best players for this. This is our opinion.
Yeah.
Fans of the game, and you know what? We wanted to get together and just start conversation, get people talking, and be honest, make the most of coronavirus lockdown.
We are just like yourselves. We're all basically stuck in certain rooms of our house, and we just wanted to get conversation started. Really, yeah, we're not going to claim we're experts. In fact,
far from it. We're actually the opposite of an expert. I am terrible at football, but I have many years of football manager experience. I took Luton to the double Champions League winners when I had a back injury in 2012. No, in all seriousness, this is just something we wanted to think about. Times of football is something that's kind of always kind of permeated our life, something that's always been there, and we wanted to kind of revisit those times. That we wanted to have a look at how the game is now. We don't really want to give opinion. We just want to make a 1 to 11 of times that are significant to us. And one of the times that's significant to us is something that brought in the modern game, and this is Roman Abramovich buying Chelsea.
Yeah, it's sort of come to the fore this week with Newcastle being bought by
Amanda Stavely and her Middle Eastern friends.
Middle Eastern friends. So basically, Mohammed bin Salman, isn't it? Who is contentious as a choice to be your owner.
This is one of those things that has no middle ground. You're either getting Chelsea or Malaga.
Yeah.
You won't get something that's halfway between. You'll either get significant investment, increased playing squad. I'm bored now.
Yeah.
We're either going to get one or the other.
Yeah, and yes, and it's coming from questionable moral background. But let's not be the moral arbiters.
I think going back to that time of June 2003, the thing that amazed me with the Abramovich deal was it just came out of nowhere. Just suddenly, Russian billionaire bought Chelsea. Sorry.
And then a week later, he's bought Hernan Crespo. He's bought
Damien Duff, Mattia Kesman, Juan Veron, Wayne Bridge, Scott Parker, Glenn Johnson, Joe Cole. Sorry.
Yeah, it was just it's literally like it was a bit like what felt a bit champ manager-esque in a way. You had a foreign buyout and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to stick a bid in for this. Oh, I've got him. I don't know where to fit these players into my team.
Yeah, and I think it's just Chelsea weren't a bad team. Chelsea weren't a bad team at all. You take that Hullet team, that Vialli team, they were what I would say a kind of Everton now, from where I see things. They were on the cusp of doing something, but they just weren't as good as the others.
Can you remember the player who scored the goal, which meant Abramovich bought Chelsea?
Someone like Mario Stančić or someone like that.
Jesper Grønkjær. They had basically a playoff
against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool, and he scored the winner, and which meant Chelsea went into the Champions League, which was why he bought Chelsea. He wanted a Champions League team. He'd been at Old Trafford for the Man United Madrid game where Ronaldo scored a hat-trick and sort of fell in love with football from this, which
who could blame him?
It was a superb game of football.
The Man United fans applauding Ronaldo just being Ronaldo. And because of Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm going off on a tangent here. That man, the fat Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
On this podcast, he's Ronaldo.
Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
If you think we're talking about Cristiano
is the other Ronaldo.
Yes.
Okay. So
we wanted
a huge spending spree. As well.
I think it made players who you never thought would come to the Premier League come to the Premier League. Andrei Shevchenko didn't go well. No, spoiler alert, he's not in my team. I'm just going to throw it out there. But you never thought he'd leave Milan. Ever.
No.
Michael Ballack, you never thought he'd leave Bayern.
He was going to leave Bayern, but you never thought he'd join
a Premier League
team. Yeah.
And also there was the intrigue that came with it. He had the contract that made sure he wasn't affected by changes in euros and things like that.
Yeah. It was straight. And a lot of money.
Yeah.
For but what actually is, you probably wouldn't. He'd probably be paid less than Jesse Lingard now. But
yeah, I mean he's the backup right back at Southampton's probably earning something the same now. That's the almost old man thing I've said all week, isn't it? but yeah, this is one thing that for us for me changed the game, because the next a lot of my love of football relates around computer games, and the next season you wanted to be Chelsea on FIFA.
Oh yeah.
God yeah, you wanted to be Chelsea because of the money you could spend.
Oh yeah, and I remember you on the Football Manager. I think still Chat Manager back then. At the end of the first season, your chairman just bought you Alessandro Nesta. And you're like, yes, woo! And
yeah, because that was the first Chat Manager or Football Manager, one of them. Where if you didn't
manager by this point,
if you didn't make high profile signings, they made them for you.
Yeah.
So, this is I can't think of anybody suitable to buy. Well, you say that Here's Del Piero. Cool, man.
Yeah. So should we get started?
Absolutely. I think the one thing with this one, if you listen to some of our other podcasts, which I clearly suggest you do, because, leave a like and review on iTunes and tell 17 of your friends to do the same.
Exactly.
And if they tell 17 friends to do the same, we'll get paid to do this. And we'll put more effort in, which is what you want. You're listening now. Imagine how much better we do if we were paid to do it.
Exactly.
But we have some other ones that we've done where there's just unanimous choices. Now, in this one, there will be unanimous choices. There are players who've defined the Abramovich era at Chelsea so far. And this is what we're looking for, the 1 to 11 of Abramovich Chelsea.
So, yeah, be it Ranieri, Mourinho, Ancelotti, Scolari, and
Avram Grant, Di
Grant,
Matteo, Villas-Boas.
Yeah, onto the Conte years.
Sarri Ball.
I quite enjoyed. All right. To now with Big Fat Frank.
Super Frank.
Yeah. But in honour of the most successful period, we've gone with a 4-3-3.
Which could change into a 4-2-3-1. It could basically be we're picking 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 attacking players.
Yeah. We are, effectively. We're going Pete Mourinho for this. So
that back-to-back title wins.
Yeah.
And that first season, the 2004-2005.
Yeah, he conceded like 14 goals.
God. Just Mourinho at his just utter best.
Tom.
We are going to win the title at Bolton. And they won the title at Bolton.
Yeah.
Just great. Before he became this embittered weirdo. And
yeah, when he still had some
sass.
Yeah.
But he backed up.
Yeah. So, as always, we'll start in goal. And it's quite easy, really, because there's one player who
there can only be one
of this period.
There can only be one. And for me, that's Lenny Pidgley. No, of course, it's Petr Cech, the club's current technical director. He left, and to show the mark of respect Abramovich had for the man, he let him leave for a rival for no money.
Yeah.
He was, I think, because obviously people saw him at the end and, saw him in the kind of the dying days of Wenger, people almost kind of underestimate the man. You can't, that period from him joining Chelsea to Stephen Hunt breaking his skull, I don't think there was a better keeper in world football.
No.
You can argue Buffon, and feel free to argue Buffon. In my opinion, as this podcast is mine and John's opinion, you are wrong.
I will. Do you know what? I love a debate about a goalkeeper, but Cech's the best.
At that time, in world football, Petr Cech was the best keeper going because he had everything. He was tall, he was athletic, his distribution was great. He just had everything.
Brave, Before the role of the goalkeeper sort of changed.
Before Manuel Neuer turned them into sweepers.
Yeah, I think he was just standout, brilliant. And Courtois, who replaced him,
was very good.
Very good. I don't think their current goalkeeper, Adisa Balaga, I don't think he's as bad as they make out he is.
I agree.
But if you're replacing him with Caballero, then I think you're just insane, and you deserve to go back to Derby. But
God, why would the Leeds fan not like Chelsea?
And not like Frank Lampard? I don't know.
If only there was one way to know.
But in any case, Petr Cech just defines the early years of the Premier League for me. Not early, but the early years of the 2000s.
I think also the thing I've always liked about Abramovich at Chelsea, if they want to, you have all this like basically bullshit, right? So you take Willian, he was in London to go to Tottenham. Oh, he's in London. He's available. Great, come to us.
Yeah.
Oh, he's joined Chelsea. Okay, cool. There's the story that was going around of when Mohamed Salah joined Chelsea, that Liverpool were going to buy him from Basel. And they agreed a price, and then when it got to January, we don't want to pay that. We want to give you $1.5 million less. For Chelsea to come in, oh, he's available. Brilliant, cool, we'll have him. Just no messing about. De Bruyne going from Genk. He's available. No, you'd have to pay this much. Okay. Just they don't dick around with transfers.
No, they really don't.
And Petr Cech was the first example of this for me. Man United had been scouting him for 2 years. Him at Rennes. He'd apparently been scouted by all the big clubs, and Chelsea just went and got him.
Yeah,
just no messing about. Just we need a new keeper. This young kid at Rennes, fantastic. Okay. I genuinely feel that apparently he bought Chelsea in 25 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd like to have been the technical director at Chelsea from 2004 to 2007. Can we buy him? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, here's the credit card.
How much money should I give him? Okay.
Whatever he wants.
Brilliant.
It's coming out the Russian people. It's fine.
Could give Pinny Zahavi a couple of million as well. No problem. So Petr Cech, just phenomenal keeper. If anybody suggested anything different for this, you're wrong.
I know we keep saying it's our opinion, but yeah, you're wrong. Courtois just wasn't as good.
And also
Cudicini. I like Cudicini, but no.
I agree. So right back.
I've gone for their current right back.
Reece James. That's a bold choice. I had Azpilicueta as well, because I was torn between. My first thought was Paulo Ferreira, but then I realised
my first thought was Paulo Ferreira.
But then I realised I just put down the 2004-2005 team, and that's not fair. So I then went to Branislav Ivanovic.
I loved Branislav Ivanovic.
But the more I realised, for me, he wasn't a right back.
He was a centre back who masqueraded at right back to get in the team, and actually became a very good right back.
He did, but he also became an even better centre back.
Yeah.
And also the clip of Eden Hazard laughing at him trying to pronounce English.
I've never seen that.
I will send it to you directly after this. It is amazing. But
Ivanovic is the star of my favourite post-match interview, when Jeff Shreves has to remind him that he's got booked and he won't be appearing in the Champions League final. You've seen this? It is brutal. Yeah, check it out. It's good. I
think Azpilicueta is, for me, almost a little. I see him I pick him almost kind of a little bit like the Petr Cech one, because he was the best right back available who wasn't at a big club. He was from Marseille. They bought him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's slotted into any system they've played, any manager who's been there, in terms of Conte, Mourinho, Sarri. What the hell are happening now? But he's versatile, and I think he kind of fits into any picture. And also, I like the guy.
He's really, apparently, don't they call him Dave?
Yes,
because no one can pronounce Azpilicueta. Just he's won titles at left back. He's won titles at centre defence. He's still the best right back at the club. I mean, God, it must be approaching 7-8 years he's been there now.
Yeah, and he's just, for me, he's almost a little bit underrated there.
Very, very much so. He's like, even like when you come to like Team of the Years, it's very rare he's mentioned, but it's very rare I can think of a better right back.
I mean, the problem you've got now, which doesn't help, which kind of adds to it, you've got these dynamic right backs that have come in. So your Wan-Bissakas, your Alexander Arnolds, your that ilk. But yeah, Azpilicueta is a phenomenal right back, and for me, had to be in. So
yeah,
we're going to have, if we don't have unanimous centre backs, something's wrong.
I think we will.
So John Terry has to be in because he was the captain of the team. He was the stalwart of that team. He was the full kit wanker of that team. John Terry.
Yeah, it was the one player I didn't think you were going to pick. So I know sometimes you can bring out your contrarian in you. And as well, I know you don't like him as a person.
You don't have to like him as a person to respect him as a player. He was a phenomenal defender.
Yeah.
He was just, for me, he was always 10 years too late. He was no nonsense centre back.
He was, but
he still had the pace. He could still read the game, but
he could play a ball as well.
I loved him also because he got stuck in. He wasn't afraid to go forward with his head. He wasn't. For me, he just reminded me of a player from a couple of years before.
Yeah,
but he still fit into those dynamic systems really, really well. And yeah, he was the one lifting the vast majority of the trophies they had,
even when he didn't play.
Apparently, it came out in the last week or so that UEFA rang him and asked him to do that.
Oh, really?
Yes, because the year before you had a number of players lifting it in a suit, and they didn't want that. They wanted everybody in kit. So apparently, it was UEFA who told him to do that.
Oh, interesting.
Still looked ridiculous because he was in a bright white, pristine kit.
Yeah.
But the other one was... So Terry, sorry, I interrupted you.
I was saying he's the second best centre back that Chelsea have had.
So the other one has to be Ricardo Carvalho, yeah?
Yeah, the best centre back they've had.
Monster.
Ever. Oh, graceful.
Because he played slightly too long. I think people underappreciate, because when he was at Monaco and when he was to be fair, when he went to Real Madrid, he wasn't the player he was. He was still very good. But you could tell the difference he made even to John Terry when he came in. And that's the mark of a great player for me, because they just raised the game of the players around them. And he did that.
He did that very much. Champions League winner at Porto, of course, came in with Mourinho. And he just looked like he belonged from day one. He was like, I think he's almost underrated in the terms of best foreign imports into the Premier League, because we'll do that one day. But
he just,
if you could quite easily forget Carvalho, and it's a shame because he's possibly the best central defender I've ever seen.
Second. Probably third. I'm a United fan. I'm biased. We had the best centre-back partnership I've ever seen. Ferdinand Vidic. Nemanja Vidic, I love the man.
Well, so that's for another episode. But yeah, Carvalho, yeah.
Terry and Carvalho. And I think this is one of those annoying ones where we're just going to agree all the time. Ashley Cole was the best left-back in world football. We said that in the previous episode, but
it's true.
Ashley Cole was the best left-back in world football for 10 years.
Yeah, he was the sort of only, for a couple of tournaments, was the only England player that ever came out with any recognition.
He was world-class.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got him for £5 million plus William Gallas was, for me, the moment when Wenger lost control.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they never won. Never really looked like getting close to a title after that again, did they?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And also, he had everything. And
yeah,
you look at the thing that obviously not one player doesn't make a team, right? Not one player makes a team, but if you look at Ashley Cole's trophy cabinet, my God. So 3 Premier Leagues, 7 FA Cups, a League Cup, a Champions League, a Europa League, 3 Community Shields, 1, 2, 3, 4 Team of the Years, Team of the Tournament, Euro 2004, and the UEFA Team of the Year twice, Chelsea's Player of the Year twice, England Player of the Year, the World 11 part of, and also the left back of the Premier League 20 Seasons Award.
Yeah, fair enough.
Public and panel choice. Just anybody who disagrees, you're just damn wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whilst it's our opinion, I realise
if you disagree, I assume if you are disagreeing, I assume you're Marcus Alonso or Wayne Bridge.
If it's Wayne Bridge, don't listen.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. I don't care.
Give us money. I assume you can stop listening after the Terry thing. But anyway.
Yeah.
So that's our defence. Here's what it looks like. Cool. Let's move on to the 3 in midfield. And so, who are you going to have in the Makelele position?
It's an interesting. Who do I put in the Makelele position? Probably Makelele.
Put Makelele, yeah.
Same reason as Carvalho on this one, because the Galacticos team of Real Madrid, there's only so much you can do. You needed the water carrier, you needed that anchor man, you needed the linchpin, whatever cliche you want to put on it. You needed somebody who was able to hold the fort whilst Zidane, Figo, Raul, Beckham, Owen, whoever went forward.
Do you remember Zidane's quote when Beckham joined and Makelele left? What's the point of painting the Rolls Royce gold if you're then going to remove the engine?
Fair enough. That's definitely one way of saying it. Yeah, it's. I feel he made Chelsea better as soon as he came in.
He did.
He was one of those players that I remember. He joined at the same time as Jeremy, the guy who played for Middlesbrough on loan and was very good there, also from Real Madrid. And I remember thinking Jeremy was going to be a better player than him.
Oh yeah.
And I feel because he was in the Galacticos team, you didn't realise how good he was until you saw him. Because of
this was back when, even 2003, 2004, we didn't have wall-to-wall football. And Sky Sports News was something I watched to fall asleep to. Pardon me.
And got woken up every half an hour by the loud intro music.
Yeah, exactly. But still, it was. I don't want to sound like an old man, but it was different times, and I knew called Makelele from Chat Manager and FIFA, where
I took him out of the team so I could fit in another midfielder.
Yeah, that's it. I'd buy Juan Varane and I'd move out Makelele. That's what I did every time, and he doesn't because he there's no way to translate what he does into a computer game and stuff. I didn't get it.
It's a little bit like it's a bad comparison, but let me go. Like Lionel Messi now. Yeah. You can't create Lionel Messi in a computer game.
No.
You couldn't create what Makelele did into a computer game.
No.
And you just saw the effect that N'Golo Kante had at Leicester. He had the effect at Chelsea when he first came in. And N'Golo Kante is a world-class midfielder.
Yeah.
But Makelele just a little bit, almost a terrible comparison again. The David Batty of his era. Because
if David Batty could play.
But you think about it, David Batty came into the Leeds team, they won the league. When he moved to Blackburn, they won the league. He moved to Newcastle, they almost won the league repeatedly. You can't say what he did. A little bit like Makelele, he just controlled the tempo, he just dictated the game.
The reason Czech looks so good is because the centre backs ahead of him were so great, and they looked great because they had Makelele just firefighting in front of them. And you can't. It's just brilliant. He was so good.
I agree.
And so in the Makelele position, we picked Club Makelele.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah. And they haven't really ever. It's taken to N'Golo Kante for them to have a sort of deep lying midfielder who can replace him. Really.
Absolutely. I think you just see the difference that type of player makes, and I think they are essentially they have to be French. They have to be 5'4".
Yeah.
And there's that thing of N'Golo Kante. How do you get to training? You haven't got a car. Oh, he ran. And he used to run 6 miles to training at Leicester.
Yes, yeah. There's certain newspapers which you should never buy. Occasionally take the mick out of him because he drives a Mini. And I love that.
Yeah, I just love the guy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, so he's there. So who's playing slightly in front of him or slightly to the side of him? But, it's Makelele. Who's playing in front of him?
I've got two players.
Now, it
kills me that one of them is not Michael Ballack.
One of them has to be Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just read out some numbers to you, John.
Okay.
10, 13, 16, 11, 10, 12, 22, 10, 11, 15.
Are they his goals per season?
Yes. The first Ancelotti season, I believe, 22 goals in 36 games.
Okay.
I think because he's English, I remember seeing that recently on Instagram or Twitter or one of them, there's the campaign for Jordan Henderson to get the Ballon d'Or.
Well, I've not seen that, but I'm glad I've not, because I would have thrown my laptop out the window.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I had to take a walk. And that turned into my one walk I'm allowed per day, so I ended up getting more annoyed. But, people saying, what's Henderson done? Look at Yaya Touré's best season. He got 20 goals and 9 assists. You look at Lampard's best season, 22 goals. I think he had 7 assists that season as well. The man's a monster. The man was so good. And I think because he was playing for this all-conquering team, you almost forget how good he was.
Yeah. He's asthmatic. Which still is like, but he never stopped running. But yeah, he just ran so much that his asthma didn't then bother him. It seemed he had lungs of concrete and steel.
But you could tell he's someone who worked to make himself better.
He wasn't naturally.
I mean, he had obviously football. He had football in the genes by his dad, but
yeah, no, he's obviously someone who works at his game and
absolutely,
yeah. And I don't like him, but there's no other way you can have this team with anyone but him.
I don't think you have to like him.
No, I don't. But he's in. Next to him,
for me, is just a footballer I loved. because he just box to box dynamic football from Michael Essien.
Yeah, I've got Michael Essien.
Now there's many other players you can pick here. So obviously Ballack was another person I considered.
I love Michael Ballack, and the year they came second in the league and got to the final in Moscow. I think he's forgotten how good he was in the second half of that season under Avram Grant. And sort of he was then a staple from then on until he sort of left. But the 3 or 4 years where Michael Essien in the Mourinho years, basically until he got had his knee injuries, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
until his injuries, there was I struggle to think of a better midfielder in those times.
Yeah, I think he was. The fact that he kind of set up a precedent for Chelsea, didn't they? In terms of we need somebody for this position. Who's at Lyon?
Yeah. Yeah. But like that Lyon team as well from those days.
Should have won the Champions League at some point.
It was the start. It was Barcelona and the start of their thing. And plus, the Lyon, you can only keep those players for a year before someone buys them. But
yeah, somebody will be taken. Yeah,
that's their business model. But yeah, for those 3 or 4 years, Michael Essien was at Chelsea.
I think he was one of those players and you could have played him anywhere in midfield. You could play him in defence. You could play him at right back. His versatility was almost his undoing in some way, in terms of him being a bit underappreciated.
Yeah. Do you remember his goal against Arsenal from right back? Just
the bend on it.
Yeah. And yeah, it was knee injuries that eventually cost him. And he went off to
on loan to Real Madrid and then left for AC Milan.
And didn't really play very well in those years, but he's still playing now, isn't he?
So Mourinho referred to Michael Essien as his son at the press conference, and Essien referred to Mourinho as daddy.
Yeah. The system doesn't work without him.
He made that team, and especially when you look at the Ancelotti team, and just loved him. I absolutely loved him.
Yeah. Could have joined Man United.
Stole too many shirts from us, though.
Apparently that work permit issues, really, wasn't it? But yeah, apparently he did he was stealing shirts.
Yeah, which I just think is phenomenal. You look at you look at the players who could have been there. In terms of this might be what 1 to 11 we do in the future of players who should have gone, players who could have gone to that team. But yeah, Michael Essien at United, Ibrahimovic at Arsenal. Welcome, Zlatan. Here's your trial match. What?
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, that's our midfield. There's no point going any further because, I don't think John Obi Mikel's going to make this team.
No. I think Jorginho is a very good player, but he's not going to make this team. I'm sorry.
No, I do like Jorginho. But this is now our team so far. Just the wingers and a forward to go, and there's no debate really as well as the left wing. Should we have the best left winger that the Premier League's ever seen?
I'm going to say wingers, and I'm not going to differentiate.
No.
So my first winger is Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
Because just there's a reason Real Madrid paid as much. Obviously, when this lockdown ends and he gets back into the swing of things, he'll be the player he was.
Yeah. He's been blighted by injuries since he joined. I also think it doesn't help that he joined
a not so good Real Madrid team.
Well, no, he was a little bit portlier than when he left Chelsea. But yeah, he's class. He will be fine there. But for the years he was at Chelsea, once again, it's about 7 or 8 years he was there.
Yeah, because he joined the Champions League winning team and they won the Europa League the next season.
Yeah. As well, do you remember in his first season when he kicked the ball boy?
Yes.
Good. What a twat.
I mean, also, it's one of those things where it seemed horrible, but it just kind of got better and better, didn't it? You know,
Yeah.
This horrible foreigner coming over here, kicking our ball boys, who's actually the chairman's son, who held onto the ball to... Oh, right, okay, that's fine. Carry on kicking.
Bragged on Twitter about going on to waste time, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I wish I could kick him.
I'd have kicked him as well.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Hazard, brilliant. The under Conte, under Mourinho,
Sarri as well.
under Sarri, superb.
But I think it was the first season under Conte.
Yeah, the Mourinho.
To be honest, he was just very good at Chelsea.
He was very good, but I think the Mourinho title win is, I think, peak. But he's just good throughout, really. And on the other wing, we've mentioned some candidates. So Damien Duff, I always thought was very good for the few years he was there.
But he wasn't. There was someone else better.
Joe Cole was very good.
He was, but there was someone else better. Florent Malouda was a great player.
Great player. He was, for a couple of years.
Pedro has been a decent player for them.
Willian's
been a very good player for them.
But this guy only lasted
2 years.
2 years, for which a lot of the time he was injured. But those times he was fit.
Yes.
Iron Robben, who's gone on to have a decent career.
It's not been bad.
Yeah, retired last summer. But for the sort of the highest of highs of the 2 title wins, where he just played some of the most brilliant wing player I've ever watched, really.
Absolutely.
And I think he's forgotten just how attritional those Chelsea team, the first Mourinho Chelsea team, was.
Yes. Absolutely.
Hello.
For anybody who has Skype and is watching this on YouTube, my cat has just decided to jump on the table.
So he came in and just suddenly this team that was getting 1-0s were winning 4-0, and I've just never seen anything like it.
So he was nearly bought by Man United.
Yeah.
So back when Man United's transfer strategy, much like Chelsea's, who plays for Lyon, are they at PSV? Who's the best player PSV have? We'll buy them. Stam, Van Nistelrooy. Robben was the best player there, other than Mattia Kesman, who just, if we did a disappointing Chelsea Abramovich post,
I think we still might.
He will be the striker, or one of. Apparently, we offered €7 million for Robben, and the chairman said that the most we'd buy them is a shirt with his autograph. Yeah, carrying on our theme of Chelsea, just we want this player. How much do you want? Okay.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they did here. So
they were very close to getting the other Ronaldo as well before he joined Man United. He wanted to join Man United, but what could have been?
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah,
he probably would have been back at Sporting in a year. But yeah, it's just one of those things where he just, as soon as, just one of those players who we want him. Just how going to PSV. I hear he's for sale. Yes, we want this much. There you go.
Yeah.
Just no pissing about.
Make this happen. Yeah, and he was transformative. Transformative to the team. And he's gone on to, after some lean Madrid years, he was brilliant for Bayern Munich for 10 years. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, in what is a common theme, sort of kind of let go too early by Mourinho.
But when Real Madrid come calling, you go.
You go. But yeah, I don't think he ever really felt the love for Chelsea. But it is what it is. He makes our top first 11, and there's one choice for centre forward. But should we mention some of the others? Who?
Idiger Johnson.
Love him.
At the beginning.
Diego Costa.
What a shithouse.
Love him.
What an utter shithouse of a man.
Well, one of the ones on our list is the shithouse 11.
And he was. Chelsea spent a lot of money on strikers, other than the Gary Neville moment. But to be fair, Fernando Torres won everything at Chelsea, so
he did.
He wasn't the Fernando Torres at Liverpool, but he won everything. So, what does it matter? There's one choice. There's one choice for this. Didier Drogba.
Yeah. It's a thing for his. After 2 years, you were looking, thinking, is he a bust? And then, no, it turns out no, he's the best forward that this club's ever going to see.
He just got to a point where he was one of those players who had everything. Just had absolutely everything. He was phenomenal in the air. He was amazing from long distance, which people don't give enough credit. He took chances. He was just one of those. He's one of there's certain
instinctive,
players
wasn't he, as well?
Yes, absolutely. That's the word. And there's certain players in the Premier League era when they got on the ball, he got excited. He was one of them.
What I liked about him was the bigger the game, you knew he was turning up.
Oh, and also, the moment the team sheet came out and they were playing Arsenal, he was scoring.
Yeah.
Oh, a cup final against Arsenal. Yeah, Chelsea are going to win that.
There's I think it was a semi-final against Arsenal.
Scourge of Arsene Wenger, Didier Drogba.
Apparently for those games, you just couldn't talk to him before the match because he was just in the zone. And there's one where I think it was a semi-final, and they looked over and he was just in his zone. And they were like, "We're winning today. We're just winning today. We can tell Didier's going to win us this game," and he did.
I love the man. I genuinely love the man.
And
I think also, just the passion. So, the one thing that, if I was to say the name Tom Henninger of Rabo, would you know who I mean?
The referee.
The cheating referee. Then Barcelona were handed the Champions League final on a plate.
He made some bad calls, but one of the worst calls he made was to send off Abidal in that game as well, which also gets forgotten. But yeah, they should have been sent off. They should have had penalties.
Yeah, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
But you saw the passion, and the overriding theme at the end of that game was Drogba screaming into the camera, "It's a disgrace! It's a fucking disgrace!" And That's a guy who lived and breathed Chelsea. And I think for me, just that final run, him getting that moment where the final season he was there, him like basically, I genuinely feel he got brought back to the club just so he could have that final send off.
Yeah.
And him leaving the club before, what's the final thing he did? Oh, yeah, he won the Champions League for them on a penalty. His penalty won them the Champions League.
Yeah. Just
Because I watched that Champions League penalty shootout with you.
You did. We did. We watched it together.
I was literally never in doubt from the minute he walked up to that penalty spot. And you know what the best thing about it was? Neither was he.
No. Oh, yeah. The self-confidence is astounding. I as soon as Bayern scored, I just knew that at 1-0, it's fine. Drogba's got a goal. And he did. He did. He had a late equaliser.
Thumping header.
The thing about most of these players is, apart from possibly Robin, who won 2 leagues, these players were there for most of their defining times. Terry, Cech, Cole, Lampard, Drogba were there for the Champions League win. They've all won titles.
The Champions League loss. The final loss. The semi-final disgrace. Fucking disgrace.
Yeah. True. They're all there for the defining moments. And I think that's what makes them, as well, just the most notable players for this 1 to 11.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one where there's certain ones where it's up for debate. You know, people are welcome to give their opinion, but I genuinely feel this one is almost locked down.
Very much so. But if you are a Chelsea fan and you're thinking,
one of these two Leeds and Man United idiots, no.
Yeah. Then get in touch. If you think we've left someone out, should you be a Pedro Truther, then then come and get him. Let us know.
If you think it's disgraceful, if you think it's a fucking disgrace, we haven't put in Khalid Boularus.
Oh, I loved him. But yeah, get in touch. We'll get you in for your own 1 to 11. But we'd love to get involved. But until then, until our next episode, it's a good night from us, and a good night from you, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, I'll speak to you all later.
Bye.